February 23rd, 2016, Tuesday night on Revolution Radio. And I have a really great show planned for you tonight. The first hour, I have Elliott Adams come on, and oh my God, this man is incredible. He's like my new hero, a man that really, really walks his talk and, does his missions with a lot of passion. And he's going to talk about his visit to the West Bank and Palestine and what he's doing to help people be nonviolent warriors. And then the second hour, in honor of him coming on and what we're going to talk about, we're going to do some energy light work. We're going to do a power prayer to help all veterans from all wars heal body, mind, and soul. And they're going to do a power prayer for Palestine and Israel. So while we're waiting for Elliott to come on, let me share with you a little bit about him. Elliott Adams has transformed from a soldier to a nonviolent warrior, applying his intellect and body to building movements that create justice. He dedicates his life to stopping all war. He served as Army paratrooper infantry in Vietnam, Japan, Korea, and Alaska. National President of Veterans for Peace, President of the School Board, Mayor of his village, Committee Chair of BSA, Explorer Post 17, President of Rotary and Master of the Masonic Lodge. When does this man have time to eat? Now, Elliott has conducted nonviolence and social movement trainings for organizations such as Fellowship of Reconciliation, School of America's Watch, Peacemakers of Shohoharai, Student Environmental Action Coalition, War Resisters League. He currently works with the Meta Peace Team and is co-chair of Creating a Culture of Peace. This work has taken him throughout the world, from testifying before U.S. congressional judiciary committees to being arrested for the cause. In 2013, he completed an 80-day fast in solidarity with the Guantanamo Bay and Pelican Bay hunger strikers. In 2014 and again in 2015, he spent several months as a member of the Meta Peace Team using third-party nonviolent intervention in the West Bank and Palestine. So I'm really excited because he's going to share with us also what life is like in the West Bank and Palestine from, the ground view, and from also as an observer, which is very important. And he's going to also explain, what third-party nonviolent intervention means. The Nonviolent Peace Force. There's a Michigan Peace Team, which he's also a member of. And, I'm kind of excited about that because I'm also from Michigan. So he'll explain exactly what peace teams do on the ground. And they also train for this, which I'm really excited about. If somebody wants to go and do volunteer time, you can contact Elliott. So he'll really get into a lot more depth on what Meta Peace Teams are and how that actually empowers people to engage in active nonviolent peacemaking. And I think that's Elliott now.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Elliott. This is
Hey, Cathy, how are you?
Much better now that I'm actually hearing your voice and knowing that you're here. I'm doing very well, and thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. I was just explaining to people what you actually do, and, when do you actually have time to eat?
Oh, well, there'll be plenty of time to eat after we die.
Okay, good answer.
Oh, yes. It's wonderful that life is so full and so demanding that there's hardly any time to do the simple things in life.
I have to agree with you. And, you are a man that really does his mission with a lot of passion. You just got back from doing a lot of lecturing and sharing and talking story in California.
Yes, there were maybe a couple of weeks. I think we did 25 some events or better events, which is good. And important things to talk about. And we talked to wonderful people, and I think helped motivate them. And that's really good.
You're from Michigan, right?
No, actually, I am from New York.
From where?
New York.
Oh, New York. Are you in New York now?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you in New York now?
I am in New York now. I just got back today. Yep, I'm in upstate New York, and we're beginning to have snow, and yep, it's wonderful.
Oh, well, okay. Everybody's got to like snow. I guess what really threw me off was the Michigan Peace Team.
Yes, that's one of the groups I work with, and they are Michigan Peace Team, which is now called Meta Peace Team, or uses both names, but they are based in Lansing, Michigan. But I live in New York State.
Okay. Well, how did you get involved with the Michigan Peace Team? And please explain to people what you actually do.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what I do, but Meta Peace Team does what we call third-party nonviolent intervention, which is one of those big, fancy, and confusing terms. But essentially, it is third-party, as in. So, I guess let me back up a little further. Some of our core beliefs are that conflict is normal, conflict is good. Conflict is what gives me a permission to be an individual. If we are going to have diversity, we are going to have conflict. So we feel conflict is normal and appropriate. What is not normal and what is not appropriate is violence, or violence in conflict. And indeed, violence is sort of contradictory to conflict in that it makes any kind of resolution or coming together or adjusting to the conflict much more difficult. And when we talk about conflict, my wife refers to our conflict partner, which I think is a really appropriate term because, when we are in conflict with somebody, we're a team. We're partners. We're working together. Whether we like them or not, we are kind of locked together. So we're kind of locked together, and we're kind of going on a journey together, whether that was our plan or not. So if you but that journey should not include violence, because that makes it makes the journey harder, and means you probably aren't going to get very far on it. And then, so our thinking is, our experience has been that third-party people, other people from the conflict, can help to keep the violence out of, or at least reduce the violence in one of those conflict partnerships.
Okay, you just got back from the West Bank in Palestine. So can you give us some actual examples of, you went in as a peace team, correct?
That is affirmative, yep.
Okay. Can you give us some actual, examples of what life was like in Palestine, what you did as a peace team? That
Sure.
was part of, what you're supposed to do.
So the main tools we think of in third-party nonviolent intervention are accompaniment, intervention, interpositioning, modeling, and observation or monitoring. Those are sort of the four biggest. In reality, you use every bone in your body and everything you can dream of in any given situation. But those are the big tools. So in the West Bank, especially now, since the Second Intifada, a lot of the potentials for nonviolent resistance and the leverage of nonviolent resistance in the West Bank has been reduced. So a lot of our work was monitoring or observing and reporting. So, for example, let me just give you some specific examples. One of the things we went to, there's a number of gates, and some kinds of gates, in fact, through the wall. But, for example, there are what we'll call agricultural gates. So when they put the wall up, they put it on the Palestinian side of the 1967 armistice line or the Green Line or that line, which is sort of recognized as a temporary boundary between Israel and the West Bank, recognized internationally, etc. So they moved that wall in to the Palestinian property. I'm getting quite a bit of feedback here. I don't know if you are. Are you?
No, it should be gone.
Okay, good. Then I'll just keep going. And it is going now. So they put that wall in, cutting off literally hundreds of acres of farmers. But then everybody recognizes that land still belongs to the farmers, so that in the morning the farmers have to go to this agricultural gate in the wall, and then they'll open the gate up and let them cross into their fields. They can work their fields in the afternoon. They come back, which it's a little strange to start with, but the problem has been that the soldiers are sloppy about when they open the gates. So the gate's supposed to be open from 7 to 7:30, but they may show up at 6 o'clock. And if they show up at 6 o'clock, they will open the gate, and any farmers that are there to go out, they let out, and they close the gate. So the gate may be closed by 6:15, 6:30. And the farmer who arrives at 7 when the gate's supposed to open won't get out. Or so the result is the farmers show up at 5:30 in the morning and wait for hours to see when the gate's going to open. And maybe it opens at 7, or maybe it opens at 8. So that one of the roles we did was to go there and make it clear to the soldiers that we were there as internationals monitoring. That we would tell them, we are recording the time you open the gate and when you close the gate. And yes, we do report to the UN and other international agencies as a way of helping them, helping the soldiers sort of sharpen their sense and open it when it's supposed to be opened and close it when it's supposed to be closed.
Now, how big was your group when you went in there?
So we went in with a small team from Metapeace team. That was 3 of us. And just as a matter of practicality, 4 is sort of a limited number because that's all you can put in one taxi. So if you have 5, now you got to take 2 taxis, 2 people in one, 3 in the other. So by the time you have 5, you might as well have 8 or something along those lines. So it's a little interesting question about the logistics. And part of our policy also is to always have 2 people, never have an individual by themselves, always have 2 people. Just as a matter of safety and security.
So if you have 3, then you all go together.
We have 3, you all go together. And so we were there for... I was there for a little over 2 months, about 2 months, but they were there for maybe 5 weeks. And during that period of time, we were together all the time, which is another part of the learning process and the art of doing the work is just learning how to live together for that time frame.
Wow, that's incredible. What did you observe? What is life like for a child over in Palestine in the West Bank now?
It is, to be honest, it is almost impossible to imagine and to understand how people live there. So there's this incredibly complex maze of different forms of oppression that happen, and each one is sort of justified by some kind of a strange rule or something or other. And it's just hard to imagine how people survive. But if you talk about small children, when we were down in Khalil or Hebron, we would do school runs, and we would pick up young children, 3-year-old children. Parents would come out and carry their children and hand them to us, and we would walk them to school as a full protective accompaniment, because down there, those young kids would get attacked by adults and much older kids that were Jewish. It's hard to imagine, but that's the reality. So that was one form of the protective work we were doing. Again, down there, we were monitoring the gates and trying to keep track of how many children got through the checkpoints. By gates, I mean the checkpoints. When the checkpoints would be filled with tear gas so that nobody could get through them, or they would be closed, and try to keep track of how many children made it through.
Oh, wait, back up. What do you mean when you would have to avoid the tear gas?
Well, tear gas is a major portion of a lot of the West Bank. The Israeli soldiers use it a lot. So in that particular case, they would be using it at the checkpoints, and the result was that the children couldn't come to the checkpoint to go to school. In other cases, it's just that tear gas is used a lot, and that's tear gas made by the United States, of course. So another illustration of tear gas was we spent time at Kaduri University. We chose to go to Kaduri University because we had heard that there had been problems. We'd heard that the Israeli soldiers had been attacking Kaduri. So we went there, and Kaduri, just to give you a picture, is, they must have, maybe 10 buildings that are, the typical college university buildings that are probably, 6-8 stories tall. Some beautiful buildings, libraries, administration buildings, cafeteria buildings. It's a agricultural slash technology university. It does both. And in the agricultural part, there are, as you might expect, orchards and greenhouses and fields and livestock and all the things that they are doing research in veterinary work, and there's a aquaculture program raising fish and all kinds of such things. But they're they're right near the wall. It's one of maybe a half a dozen universities in the West Bank. Education is very important to Palestinians. They put a lot of emphasis on it. Frankly, they probably put a higher social value on it than we do here in the United States. But where we are having our young children leaving school with, $50,000 in debt. But anyway, that's sorry about that aside. But going back to Kaduri, we found that indeed the Israeli soldiers were attacking the university, coming up on the grounds of the university, coming down the middle of the university, firing tear gas, firing rubber-coated steel bullets, firing rubber bullets, firing real bullets. And we began to try. So, again, as our peace team work, part of our work was to quantify, qualify, and report what was happening so that it was not people getting reports as we originally did that, oh, gosh, there's, they attack almost every day and people get shot and stuff like that. we wanted to actually quantify what was happening. So we we went to the emergency rooms, and stayed in the emergency rooms and watched them come in. So we found that about 5 out of 7 days, the Israeli soldiers would attack the campus. And we found that on a typical day, maybe 5 or 6, sometimes it's high, like 10, but I think on average it's like 5 or 6 students would get shot, and maybe 25 students would be hospitalized or treated for tear gas inhalation. It was interesting talking to the administrators, and they were saying, this is a problem. We're just trying to create an environment where students can learn. And here we are, so part of what we tried to do was to connect with U.S. universities and universities around the world to say, look, can't you support this university? That doesn't make sense. So the administrators were saying that we're the only university in the world that has a military training base on our grounds. And I got interested in trying to figure out what this base was that the soldiers were protecting and why they were protecting it. When I went there, I realized that there was nothing there. I mean, there were buildings, yes, but nobody taking care of them. There were no windows or doors on them. When I say no windows or doors, I mean there weren't even door frames or window frames. It wasn't like just broken glass. And then when I looked on the UN charts, the UN maps, they do not list it as a military training base. They don't list it as a military base at all. But still in all, the soldiers would show up about 5 out of every 7 days, 5 out of days out of the week, and show up at site, and then would go on the banks, and then eventually come down and attack the university.
It has got to be so hard to learn when you're constant shock and trauma.
Yes, it is. There's two aspects of it. On the one aspect of it is a complicated problem, which peace team members, some team members just plain cannot do it. They just cannot control their anger under these conditions. And they have to step down from that work if they can't. On the other hand, I think as you're alluding to this amazing question of how do people live under that? How do they keep going? So, for example, we just talked about that question of how you keep going. We visited we stayed at a farm, Perez had a farm, and the Israelis came and bulldozed his farm, and then he rebuilt it, and they bulldozed it again, and then he rebuilt it, and then they came down to build the wall, and they cut off, I am not sure how much of his farm, but a big chunk of his farm. Plus, they bulldozed his farm yet again, and in this process, he wound up going to jail, like almost all Palestinians. But anyway, he wound up going to jail, and here he has another farm again. And you just have to, puzzle over how does a person do it yet a third time, knowing full well it could happen a fourth time. How do you rebuild your life that many times? And that doesn't include when in Ramallah, there were people demonstrating because they are Muslim. One of the 3 most important locations of their religion is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, or at least the Dome on the Rock, which is in Jerusalem, which is a 5-minute drive from where they live, and a drive they used to make regularly up until the wall was built up. And now they haven't been there since. They have not been allowed to go to that religious site since the wall was built. And they still know because they used to go there. They know it's just a 5-minute drive. It's just a very short ways away, maybe a 15-minute drive. They know it's a short drive, and it is the only, by far and away, the closest of the important religious sites to them, and they just can't go there. And it just has to be really, really frustrating for people. I mean, frustrating. I mean, the words just don't work. But not, frustrating is nowhere nearly as strong as it is. As it must feel for them. And these things go on and on and on and on. I mean, people's lands being taken. I was there, of course, as you may or may not know, I was there in the in the winter, I guess really, of 2014, the winter in 2015. And I have friends who had early on lost land because the settlers had come and just built houses on their land, and so it was no longer their land because they had no way to get to it. And here I was this year, over last year, or actually in 2015 over 2014, and I had friends who had houses, colonial settler houses built near. So, for example, a friend of mine's has an orchard. It's quite a olive orchard that's quite high, and they're not even settlers. They're really actually outposts, which are illegal not only by international law but by Israeli law. Built near their olives, and when she went up to pick them, the soldiers denied her the right to have people help her. So here's an elderly woman with asthma who is expected to actually do all the picking of all of her own olives, under the barrage of insults and yelling that the people who built a house next to her orchard on some other Palestinian land were hurling at her. And that's even complicated because in most of, I would say, mostly in around Nablus, certainly most of the olives are grown on what is called Area C, which is land that belongs to the farmer. Nobody questions that. It belongs to the Palestinian farmers, but they aren't allowed to go there without permission from the army. So the result is two things. One is you don't pick the olives when the olives are ripe. You pick the olives when the army gives you permission to. And the other thing is that usually the army will give you like 3 days to pick, maybe 10 days to 2 weeks worth of picking. So you still need a lot of help in order to accomplish the picking. And going on to this growing, this actually in this 1 year between when I was there and there again, in the village of Borin, there were two houses that I know of that had been Palestinian houses the previous year in 2014, and they had just abandoned the house. They just left the house because too many times settlers had come down in the night and either threatened to burn their house down or started to burn their house down, and the families just decided it was too dangerous to live there, so they abandoned their houses, and that just moved the edge of the active village of Borin a little further away, a little further down, it pulled into itself.
Wow.
This goes on and on and on.
This really, it's something like the black people did when the whites wanted a new house. They moved in and pushed the blacks out. This just rips my heart, I mean, now, can you tell me, are the Palestinians also dependent on Israel for food and medicine and like everything?
Well, technically they are, because under international law, when you occupy, and this is particularly established, was established a number of times in the Geneva Convention, and there are principles, a variety of laws of international law have specified and clarified that when you occupy another land, you are responsible to be sure that they have food, medicine, legal, police force, fire department. You're responsible for everything. If you occupy it, you've got to take care of everything. But the reality is, it's very curious. The reality is that Israel's not doing that. Israel, to a large extent, is depending on NGOs, international NGOs, to do that work, and they've literally at times they've said things like they put a call out saying, look, you NGOs, you've really got to get in here because the Palestinians really need help. And one of the things that I think that the international community should be doing, all these NGOs should do the relief work that needs to be done. But whenever they do it, they should write a bill and send it to Israel, because Israel is legally responsible for doing the relief work. Not just the way it is. And UNRWA, which is the longest-standing relief effort in the history of the world, going back to the 40s to 45, which is an official portion of the UN, has been doing all this, has been feeding people in the camps. Been their life supply of food since the 40s. And technically, that should all be provided for by Israel. So I think that the UN and the other agencies should all be writing the Israel bill and saying, we're doing this, but because it needs to be done, and it's a matter of humanitarian, but it is your legal responsibility. And in fact, it gets even more sinister than that, because particularly in the West Bank, so part of one of the agreements was that Israel is doing the security control around both Palestine and Israel. If you are a relief agency and you buy wheat in, say, Egypt and try to take it to the West Bank, Israel has a very high tariff on importing it, so that they make money off the importation of the grain. Now, there's another way of doing it, which is that you let an Israeli buy it from Egypt, and then you buy it from them, in which case you pay less tariff. But the fact of the matter is that not only is Israel dodging the legal responsibility to provide the aid, they are also siphoning funds off of that process, which is even more bizarre.
I think it's pretty corrupt, but that's just my opinion right now. I saw a video that you did of the West Bank, and I got to see visual because you did a lot of slides. And one of the things that, I could actually visually see is, you would go, okay, here is a building, maybe months ago, and now here is nothing but rubble. And there's nothing to rebuild with, correct?
Well, that's the difference between the Gaza and the West Bank. In Gaza, yes, there were many. When I was in Gaza after Operation Cast Lead, that's absolutely correct. They weren't allowing the concrete to come in, the cement to come in to rebuild the buildings. They wouldn't even allow the diesel fuel to come in to tear down the buildings that they'd blown up, and they specifically weren't allowing they never have not allowed the cement to come in to rebuild the sewage treatment plants that got destroyed. So that in Gaza they there's a huge pollution problem. It's actually polluting a lot of the Mediterranean, because they aren't allowing the basic supplies to come in to do not only to rebuild the homes that they destroyed, but also to rebuild basic infrastructure like sewage treatment plants, which they destroyed. And there's a very sinister aspect about that. I mean, way back when, back in 2010, 2009, 2006, maybe, when John Kerry went over as a senator, and he objected to the fact that Israel was saying, well, we can't allow teddy bears come in because they are a security risk. And John Kerry said, this is ridiculous. How can you consider teddy bears a security risk? So they agreed to allow the teddy bears in, but instead said they wouldn't let marmalade in. It's just bizarrely sinister.
Well, isn't it, planned genocide? Israel wants the property.
Well, I think it's interesting because, yes. So there's two things I want to clarify. One is I think is very important to try. It's hard to tell what somebody else is thinking, but I would refer to the West Bank as slow motion ethnic cleansing and Gaza Strip as slow motion genocide. And basically, what it looks like is happening, or no, what de facto is happening, is that one is that the ethnic cleansing is happening at the fastest speed that it can happen, that doesn't create an international furor. So it's just going just slow enough so that the whole, if it were happening faster, the whole world would jump up and down and scream and say, "This is crazy. This is not right. We can't tolerate it."
Well, we've been talking a lot about Palestine, and one of the impressions you gave me when I listened to your speech on the video is that you really try to look at everything from all angles, and maybe this has got to do with your military training. And as angry as I am with Israel and with what they're doing, and this is the government, I will say my anger is directed at. There are a lot of very good Israelis that are peacekeepers and refuse to join the military. Is that true?
That is correct. There's a variety of groups of military unwillingness to cooperate. So there are Combatants for Peace, which is a group of combatants from both the Palestinian side and the Israeli side who are working together, saying, we were enemies and we refuse to be that, and we can draw bridges across there. There are refuseniks who refuse to serve in the occupied territory. These are people who say, "Look, I will join the military, and I will do national security, but I won't work in the West Bank." There are groups who are just outright saying, "Look, this is what's happening." So there was a group of officers who wrote a big letter saying, what is happening is what we are doing in the West Bank is not a matter of national security, and is in fact making us less secure, and we can't tolerate it. So there are a lot of that. I think it's worth comparing to the U.S. There are many of us who were furious and deeply involved in trying to stop the occupation of Iraq. But still in all, there were enough supporting it that they went ahead and did it. Now, I will tangentially remind us that while we did tolerate or tacitly support the occupation of Iraq, the American public has not supported the occupation of Iran, and that was the clear and deliberate intention to accomplish that from Bush's days. That was the original intention was to occupy Iran, and they haven't been able to do it because the American public hasn't been willing to tolerate it. So that's hopeful, but it does come up this question that that in a nation there are many different groups that have different motives, and when you have a war, I sometimes say it takes a whole village to have a war, because a lot of different interests come together to create one. And when you have one that's been going on since the 40s, then there's a real the U.S. has never run any war since the 40s, but Israel has. So that takes some determination and continuation to keep it happening. Of course, at various times they've done different things. They have, they've had different approaches, and the swings of public opinion have created slightly different approaches at different times. But what is happening there now is unbelievable, and I think. So let me just say, one of the things that was very, very poignant for me, I guess I would say, was that I was trying to get up in the small olive orchards to help, and because I knew they needed us up there, and both as protective accompaniment and in just my help. So I was trying to sort of befriend the soldiers and talk to them. So I talked to them about their weapons, because they're all weapons I carried, And suddenly one of the soldiers said, "Oh, yes, my rifle was American. My ammunition is American." And he turned around and he pointed his Jeep and he said, "My Jeep is American." And he looked down and he pointed to his shoes and he says, "My shoes are American."
Wow.
And that was, yes, exactly. That was a very wow moment for me. I stood there in silence and my brain rolled around for a while, and I realized that this thing, which I thought was so ugly and I disliked so much, was something which I was directly involved in, because it was because we were making it possible. So what does that look like in a bigger picture, not just to an old soldier and a young soldier standing there? In the bigger picture, we give $3.1 billion a year of direct military aid to Israel. And to give a perspective, you might say, okay, so what else do we give everybody else? Well, it turns out that that's 55% of all the military aid we give the entire world. 55%. Or looked at another way, it's about 25% of the entire Israeli defense budget. So it's a pretty consequential chunk of money. And that is that's just that money, plus there's a whole bunch of other things we give them. So just as an illustration, during the last invasion of Gaza, attack of Gaza, if you recall, the Republican Party has been very, very fervent on the motion that no matter what you spend money on, there always has to be an offset, so that you can't increase the budget. That's their big goal. So if you want to spend money on health care, tell us where the offset is going to be. If you want to spend money on roads, tell us where we're going to offset that higher expense. But on the other hand, when Israel during the time it was attacking Gaza wanted, I forgot it was something like $450 million, wanted that to increase their missile defense system. Congress passed it without batting an eye. Passed it immediately, and there was no offset. So we needed anything that we in the United States need from our Congress, they were demanding an offset for. But something that Israel wanted, they just wanted to check.
I think it's in the Bible that says whatever country supports Israel, they will always prosper.
I don't know whether there is or not, but of course then there's a question of which Bible we're talking about here. To be a little sacrilegious, if I may, but
don't pin me down on that one.
The fact of the matter is, there's more than one religion. There's more than one. Different people accept different gods, and different people accept different Bibles. And the Bibles are always written by the people of that religion. Just the way it is.
That's true. So if people want to contact you, Elliott Adams, and bring you out to so you can speak about Gaza, and you do speak about many other things also, how can they get a hold of you?
They can always get hold of me just by emailing me, which is Elliott Adams with 2 L's and 2 T's. So it's ELLIOTT ADAMS at Juno, JUNO.com. Which, if you recall, recall, is one of the very early email servers. They can also phone me at 518-441-2697. And yes, indeed, I do. I go all over the country talking. I'm happy to talk about the West Bank and how we can make things better there. I'm happy to talk about how we can abolish war and why it's important to abolish war. If I may, I'll give you one of the quotes which I hold, which I think is very valuable because it shows us. It was from President Eisenhower, which, as you recall, was the commander-in-chief of all Allied forces during World War II. And he had a quote which helps us visualize the costs to a society, all the people who are not involved in the war, the cost of having a war, and in which he said, every rifle made, every warship launched, every missile fired is, in the final analysis, a theft from those who are hungry and are not fed, from those who are cold and are not clothed. This world of war is not spending money alone. It is spending the sweat of its laborers, the genius of its scientists, and the future of its children. Under the dark cloud of war, it is all of humanity hanging on a cross of iron.
Wow, that's true. I've heard that quote before. Thank you. Really quick, I want to ask you, if somebody wants to volunteer to be on a peace team, what are you looking for?
So that's a great question. So they can go to the Meta Peace Team website. That's Meta, META Peace Team .org. And so we have it takes training. It takes to learn how to do this work and get yourself better at it. So there's an irony in this. On the one hand, I would say that any teacher or any mother has done almost all of the skills of peace team work. But in order to do it in big conflict, it helps to practice and bring it up to a conscious level. So it's not rocket science, but it takes practice. So we have an 8-hour basic training, which is the first step towards going on a peace team, and people who've done the 8-hour basic training are work on domestic peace teams. So one of the things that Meta Peace Team does that many of the other peace team groups don't do is we have peace teams both inside the United States and around the world. And then if you're going to go overseas, then you need to go to further training in the basic skills. And then before any team leaves, we have a training which is designed to deal with that particular country, the culture. Because culture is very important when you're doing this kind of work. Things like, all kinds of things, just like personal space. Everybody has a distance where if you're just carrying on a conversation, it's comfortable to be at. And if you step within that a little bit, then you either have to be much more familiar with the person, or it becomes uncomfortable. And if you stand too far away, then it feels like you're really trying to distance yourself from them, and that changes from culture to culture. So the other training we do is to be sure that people are familiar with the culture they're going to, so that they aren't making people mad by accident. They can work together.
Where do they do the training?
A lot of the trainings are done in Michigan, since that's where the group has been based. But I've done trainings in Washington, D.C., in San Francisco, and Seattle. I've done trainings for Meta Peace teams. So trainings can be arranged anywhere. And if you're creating a domestic team in a city, it's much more practical to do it in that city, so people don't have to travel. You just bring the trainers rather than bring the people. Rather than bringing all the people who are going to be part of a peace team, you just take the trainers there and train them. And obviously, when you do that, it takes if people get trained, but not everybody's going to want to do the work. That's just the way life is. So that in order to get a team to build a domestic team, it takes a little bit of you got to train a number of people to build the skills and teamwork, enough people so that you can mount a team.
Well, Elliott, we have 1 minute left. Is there anything you want to say to everybody about peace building or Gaza, the West Bank?
Well, I guess not offhand. I mean, peace building is so important. It's time that we abolish war. There's also an organization I'm involved in called World Beyond War. So why don't I spend a minute on that? I certainly believe it is now time to abolish war. This is a propitious time for it. So you can go to the website about worldbeyondwar.org. Take a look at it. I'd love to know your thoughts about it. But we think that we should be able to pull people together around the world who are going to make a conscious effort to just plain end war. It's a stupid idea. It's bad for everybody, and let's just do it.
Oh, I agree. I think this is a year we can actually achieve world enlightenment if people put just a little bit of energy into it. What are we waiting for? Why not? Because when we're in enlightenment, when people are really connected to the Creator, all this other stuff stops because people know better.
Yeah. Yes. You're so right.
But again, not a lot of people want to make it. They talk about it. It's like you say, you train a lot, but not everybody can do it. And then out of those people, even less can actually, end up going. So it's the same thing. God puts the call out, but I did kind of email you before we went on air, and I want to volunteer. So I'm really, really interested in the training program. Oh God, we're out of time. Elliott, see, this happens when it's only an hour. Elliott, thank you for coming on.
Wonderful being with you. Thank you so much, Cathy.
Well, aloha, everybody. Welcome back. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap Let Light Unite show on Revolution Radio. And this is February 23rd. Yeah, the last week of February. Wow, I don't know about you, but when Elliott Adams talked, I don't know, it just tore me up. Because when you actually hear what's going on in Gaza from someone who was actually there and an outside observer, it just tears you up, and all I can say is it just pushes me onward to really start talking about how we can push enlightenment and really manifest world enlightenment this year. And it's coming together, doing energy work, thinking positive thoughts, even chanting. Just chant, may divine enlightenment descend down around everyone now. May divine enlightenment descend down around everyone now. That you're calling down that really high divine energy around everybody, and it does matter. Your intentions matter. The earth is a planet of magic. Don't forget that. All your thoughts are things. Every breath you take and exhale goes somewhere. So be conscious, a little bit more conscious, and start putting that energy toward the light. Be conscious of where and who you actually support. And if they're a dark corporation, then stop giving them your money. Hit them in their pocketbook. Anyway, he's an amazing man, and I can't wait to bring him back. So Revolution Radio is listener sponsored, and we definitely depend on your donations to keep us on air. Everybody here on the station, around the station, it's all volunteer. Nobody gets paid for doing this. And, I do it out of service. For me, it's to help the world quantum leap into enlightenment and taking advantage of the airwaves. And the more people that tune in to the light circles and the energy work, it's happening on the planet. There are changes. And you have to keep your attention on the light, guys, okay? And because of Revolution Radio, that energy work is getting out there. So we appreciate your donations. And, come on, go to Revolution Radio and their website. They've got a donation button. Press donation. And anything is really, really very greatly appreciated. I know I appreciate it, because if you didn't donate, I wouldn't be on the air and doing this incredible energy work with everyone. So let's get to it. Oh, yeah, I guess I better say a little blurb about me, huh? God, it's so hard to promote me when I'd rather be doing light and energy work. But if you want to do more energy work, then find me on Facebook, because I do a daily energy work. We do what I call an enlightened group focus for the day. And we also put it on the Enlightenment website, which there is one for World Enlightenment, and it's Enlightenment 2016 at shutterfly.com. And if you join, then you get all the updates that are daily, and it allows you to really become part of the group and help us manifest light and quantum leap the world into enlightenment. Because when that happens, guys, everyone is reconnected to the Creator and kind and loving. Life is good. I was walking in town, and I was kind of being unconscious. It's a small town, okay, in Honolulu, Hawaii. And this lady was in her car, and I started walking behind her, and she started going backwards. And I just kind of hopped out of the way, and she stopped her car, of course. And we both looked at each other, and we apologized, and we said we were sorry. And then we ran into each other at the bank, and we're standing in line and just kind of chuckling and going, wow, wasn't that awesome that we both said we were sorry at the same time, and we both took responsibility that maybe we both were, I was at fault because I was being unconscious. I walked behind her car, and I shouldn't have. And she was maybe a little unconscious, and she didn't see me. But, we both accepted it, and we laughed at each other and, gave each other a hug, because I'm going, oh, my God. Someone who actually, like me, takes responsibility for what they do. It is so refreshing. And to me, that's enlightenment. And people looking at things differently. How cool. Come on. So you can also find me on Facebook, where I do the prayers. And God, yes, I'm back in Facebook jail. And how did I get back in Facebook jail? And if you don't know, there is a Facebook jail. And in my case, they slap my hands because I post on too many groups at one time. And about 3 months ago, I could actually take my energy work and, I post on 200 groups. And it took me 2 hours. But I looked at it like service work. And now my limit is, I think, 60 groups. And then they slap me in jail, and they limit me from posting on groups for 3 days. Wow. And all I can say in one, way, thank you, because, now I don't have to spend all that time on Facebook. Kind of, did me a favor, like a vacation from Facebook. Although I have to admit, I have become a Twitter whore. What can I say? I do more on Twitter, and I'm branching out. I actually have another radio show that I also do on WPRN on Friday nights. So, I like to call what they did to me on Facebook as kind of like blowback. Anyway, let's do some energy work. So what I wanted to do in honor of Elliott Adams being on the show today, some energy work with the veterans and helping them release and heal their body, mind, and soul and reconnect to the Creator. And then do some energy work, some prayer protection work for the Palestinians, and see if we can help Israel shift a little bit. So for those of you that are going to participate, I want you to sit down, put your feet flat on the floor and sit straight up. Put your hands in your lap, close your eyes, and then start taking gentle, deep breaths. Now in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine that you are sitting in this huge stadium filled with like-minded people, all energy workers, all wanting to help the world quantum leap into enlightenment. So you got people on your right, people on your left, and imagine yourself holding their hands. And we're going to create this big circle, and in the center of the circle, we're going to put this huge, 10-ton smoky quartz celestial earth keeper to amplify our works. So now I want you to just take a deep breath, and as you exhale, imagine everything that no longer serves you being released. It goes through the violet flame and right back to God, and you start filling up with your divine essence. Now imagine from the top of your head this silver antenna going up, and feel it reconnecting with the Creator. And feel all that high energy just come pouring into the top of your head and just pouring into your body. And anywhere that your body's out of balance, imagine that energy just going into that area and just blasting it with this high healing energy until that discomfort is released. So now allow that energy to flow down your right arm and your right hands that you're holding in your mind's eye with the person and forming this big circle. And feel that energy now flow to the right. And as the energy flows to the right, we're going to call in your divine mates, and we're going to ask your divine mates now to send one of their soul selves and feel them stand behind you and put their hand on your shoulders and amplify our energy. Now we're going to call to your angels and your guardian angels and invite them in and feel them stand between us and put their hands over our hands and amplify the circle energy even more. We call the Sai Baba, Shirdi Baba, Prima Sai Krishna, Jesus, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, all the gods and goddesses of light, past, present, and future, and we invite them in to raise this energy of this light circle even higher. Now let that energy flow to the left, and as the energy flows to the left, the circle is now closed, so only that which is light may enter. We call to the trees and invite them in and ask that the trees send the energy into the earth through the roots so she can feel it, and out the branches, so all life forms can feel it and react in a positive light. We call to all the rock, stones, crystals, minerals, all the earth keepers to lock into the earth keeper in the center and amplify our work 100,000-fold. We call to all the grids, ley lines, meridians, domes, obelisks, pyramids, and all the sacred and holy spots on the planet to lock in to this light circle. And I'm going to ask that each one of you tonight receives a healing while we're doing this, and that you're guided into doing not our will, but thy will be done. So release our hands. Now I want you to take a deep breath and feel that high energy flow down again through the top of your head, flow through your body, down your arms, out your hands, and imagine it going into the center of the stadium, right above the big crystal. And we're going to form a bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, we're going to put the power prayer to help all veterans from all wars heal body, mind, and soul. So we call the higher selves of all war veterans, past, present, and future, who has been in a domestic or foreign war, and ask for permission to do this work for you. In the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power of the sacred fire vested in me, I command. I call to Michael the Archangel and ask that you take your sword of blue flame and cut all ties to any energy these men and women may have taken on that is not theirs, whether from family, friends, relatives, acquaintance, strangers, people they have worked with, or fought against, any officer in command or any church official of any kind. This includes all world militaries, domestic and foreign. As this energy is removed from them like an onion skin, we send it back to God. They fill up with their divine essence. We asked Michael to cut all ties to any reptilian, dinosaur energy, secret societies, and organized religion, cutting all ties to any oaths, vows, curses, hexes, and rituals that may have been done to them or their families, going backwards and forwards, hundreds and thousands of generations, or anything they may have done consciously or unconsciously. Let this unwanted energy be peeled from them like an onion skin, sending it back to the Creator, and these beings fill up with more of their divine essence. I asked Michael to cut all ties to any effigies that may have been used against them in any foreign war, or any war, foreign or domestic, including everything they own, clothes, hair, picture, their name spoken, written, or just thought of, or anything they have their energy on. As we cut the ties to these elementals, I call the violet flame through them to clean them up, the angel light energy to heal them. We seal them in the pink flame of love, commanding them to be neutral or only emitting love. I command Michael now remove all energy implants done to these men and women due to black magic, black witchcraft, or voodoo that could have carried over from any lifetime, past, present, and future. See all this unneeded energy now being removed from all their chakras or anywhere in their bodies that is out of balance. We now peel this energy off them like an onion skin and send that energy back to the Creator. They fill up with more of their divine healing essence. I asked Michael to now come forth and cut all ties to patriarchy, genocide, rape, incest, slavery, prostitution, persecution, circumcision, removing any overlays that are trying to manipulate them, keeping them from being connected to the Creator, healing themselves, being successful in all their divine missions, and being filled with joy. As all this unwanted energy is removed from them that is keeping all these wonderful things from coming to them, we send it back to the Creator and they fill up with more of their divine essence. We see this divine energy giving them all the divine strength, will, and inspiration they need to move their lives forward in divine joy. See these veterans draw to themselves everything they now need to heal for free, along with people, money, pro bonos, attorneys for any lawsuits they have wrongfully against them, or to help with rightful government claims that is being withheld from them. We see them getting lots of good press in all medias. I call the higher self of all veterans everywhere to reawaken to the knowledge and soul remembrance of what it's like to be in perfect balance and harmony with your balanced masculine and feminine side, and what it feels like to be connected with divine energy. Now, in your mind's eye, see light being added to all veterans' DNA structures. See this change become a new old soul memory, changing inside Mother Earth's DNA structure as well. See this divine light being directed to everyone's hearts and brains, especially the part of the brain that is reptilian, adding emotions and feelings to that part of all reptilian and human brains, cosmos-wide, replacing the reptilian war gladiator mentality with one that is reconnected spiritually. I called the higher selves of everyone on this planet, now said as a group, we petition to Helios and Vista that the violet flame blaze through Earth and all humanity to erase the past, present, and future karma created from the off-balance patriarchal warring energy. I called Michael the Archangel to cut all ties and binds from all life forms, the earth angels, elementals, and the unbalanced masculine energy. As all ties and binds are cut, see them being transmuted by the violet flame, and see those empty spaces being filled with divine inspiration, wisdom, and divine heart to function from. Replace this energy with balanced, harmonious, divine male-female energy. I command that this integration with all war veterans be gentle, loving, and kind, and let all apply this new energy in very practical ways. In your mind's eye, see this balance affecting all generations. Backwards and forwards is a ripple of water flowing in harmony with nature. See a burst of balanced divine energy affecting all incarnations on Earth at once. See everyone's DNA, cells, atoms, and molecules raised to a higher vibration of divine light. Let each atom, cell, and molecule in humanity and the earth be connected with the divine energy source, creating divine balance. We call the higher selves of all war veterans to step forward into the light. Cut all the ties, Michael the Archangel and Shiva, to unbalance. Patriarchy, genocide, incest, greed, power, gladiator mentality, war, violence, rape, pillage, and plunder of earth and all life forms, including women. Cut ties to all reptilian energy, any connection to the god and goddesses of war, chaos, and destruction. Cut all ties to all oaths, vows that they have taken with each other. As all this energy is cut and removed from them, we also ask that the reptilian brain is shut down and the divine brain is activated all the way down into the DNA, going backwards and forwards through all their incarnations. And as this energy is released, I call the violet flame through them and all their works that are misdirected. Cut all ties to all black art and negative ceremonies that are being done to keep veterans weak and confused. As all this unwanted energy is removed, all war veterans are now reconnecting to their higher selves and becoming awakened spiritual beings. See them very excited as they are being given their divine missions and their divine purposes. Let them fill up with divine respect for all walks of life. I call the goddess of truth to step into everything that the military does and into any secrets that are harmful to any veteran in any way, on any level. I command that all experiments that they're trying to hide and those being experimented on be brought forward to the surface in a way no person will be harmed. Let the truth come forward and let those being experimented on be cared for and justly compensated. I call the higher selves of all doctors and all healthcare providers or workers caring for the war veterans. And I command that you be divinely inspired to the cures, the proper medicine and treatment that can be given, body, mind, and soul to help them heal. Let the divine treatments and all the sources needed come to the surface now. I ask that everyone who has been mistreated or experimented on be guided to the medicines or treatment they need to get well for free. We call Ganesha and ask that you remove all blocks and energy overlays and bring the divine treatments and all the sources needed to the surface. Now, permitting people to discover the cures that the people needing treatments receive them for free. And they don't have to wait to be seen by any kind of doctor. They're seen immediately. We ask that all war veterans who have taken on radiation or any harmful chemical agent that they now carry in their bodies be surrounded in the energy of angel light, which help releases all aches and pains. I ask that Michael cut the ties to all karma they took on and is now making them sick. I call the violet flame through them to clean up their cells and atoms, molecules going down to their DNA. We command all the sick cells to mirror the healthy cells, with all the rest gently eliminated through the natural waste release of the body fluids. We also ask this of any family member they may have unconsciously contaminated, including all wives, girlfriends, their spouses. We surround all their unborn children with extra healing and everything they need to be healthy while being carried in the wombs, creating healthy births and children. We call the higher selves of all vets who are contemplating suicide for what they have witnessed and or participated in willingly or not, or have come back from war to not be able to function with their family unit, creating much hardship for all. We ask Michael the Archangel to cut the ties to these war thoughts. And we call the violet flame to transmute all out of balance energy you are holding in your minds and bodies, reconnecting them to the Creator. As that divine energy flows back into their bodies, they are filled with a loving, forgiving Creator energy that releases them from what they have done. This now allows them to start looking forward to all new possibilities they have in life and to be of service to others. This brings them much joy that they can help someone by passing on a kindness to someone near and dear to their hearts or a stranger. And as all war veterans reconnect to the Creator, their child within is given the divine spark of life to bring it back to their conscious mind, creating such a joy that flows outward from them to all their families and friends. This creates a new functional family in life. And for those that are still in the military, we ask that they now see all people as their family, friends, aunts, uncles, sons, and daughters, no matter where they are. And we ask that they lay down their weapons, choosing not to hurt or harm neither anyone or themselves. We ask the divine to awaken their spiritual being, allowing love, compassion, kindness, caring, peace, and divine love to flow through their body, mind, and spirit. Again, see all the people in the military and the war veterans being given their divine missions and their divine purposes. So we also ask that veterans' mental health groups forming with full funding from the government or outside donations from caring funders to be created. So now let's fill all of this up with light and love and see it building, and this bubble of light building even more with all the energy we're putting into it. And now let's take a deep breath and release it. Ooh. So if you hear me burp, it's not because I'm drinking beer, okay? It's because I release energy. And I guess the veterans need a lot of energy.
Hold on, folks. We shall answer.
All right, we back on air?
You're back on air.
Oh, thank you. Boy, that was good time, censor. God, karma's a bitch. So I'd be careful, really. What goes around comes around. Really, be more careful how you press those buttons, dudes, because it would really suck to be you if you kept it up. Just telling you, that's how karma works. Anyway, all right, so we're going to do some energy work for the Palestinians. So feel that divine energy flow down through your body, and imagine, again, we're creating this incredible bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, we're putting a prayer of protection for the Palestinians. In the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power, the sacred fire vested in me, I command. I call to the creator, angels, spiritual hierarchy, and all the cosmic beings of light to give us their assistance in negating all negative thought forms of destruction directed toward the Palestinians, replacing that energy with positive, peaceful, constructive thoughts. We cut all ties to all fear that is being perpetuated by anyone regarding the Palestinians, including the CIA, Jesuits, the Pope, Israeli Zionists, the United States government, or the broadcasting industry, again, replacing the fear with constructive, positive thoughts. We command the angels and all cosmic beings to interfere with all plans of mass destruction and the sacrifice of any Palestinians, as well as neutralizing all satanic plans for creating more chaos between Palestine and Israel, going backwards and forwards hundreds of thousands of years. I ask that the energy of racism towards the Palestinians be removed by Michael the Archangel, cutting the ties with the sword of blue flame since the creation of the planet until now. Let this be trailed by the violet fire to transmute all back to light. Let those thought forms be replaced with divine love. I ask the goddess of truth into everything on the planet that is trying to hide racism and bring it up to the surface, that she brings forward all secrets and hidden agendas, the Illuminati, Aryan Nation, the Antioch Baptist Church, the KKK, Nazi Party, all dark politicians, skinheads, CIA, Jesuits, the Pope, Israelis, Mossad, etc., are hiding or disguising regarding their practices. Let all anti-Palestinian energy veils be removed from humankind so the divine may again come through. I command that all persons with negative feelings or emotions toward the Palestinians step into the violet flame, then onto the light. I call divine light, divine wisdom, divine caring, compassion to everyone's heart, now letting kindness, caring, and love come through for all. For those stuck beings, I ask the Creator to shut their reptilian brain down and activate the divine God brain. We see these beings becoming an awakened spiritual being that now knows better than to hurt or harm any life form. I call to the higher selves of all life forms and ask that they now see everyone as brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, mother, fathers, all one family. We ask the creators to work out how the illegal settlements and land occupied by Israel can be returned to the Palestinians. We cut all ties to any music and all symbols that refer to the destruction of Palestine by any kind of weapons, cleansed by the violet flame, healed by the angel light energy. Then we see this energy being reconnected to the Creator, now commanding all elementals to be neutral. We see all symbols, prophecies, and all music losing their energy, as well as all forward movement. As prophecies may be changed, we put all our creative energies into seeing the state of Palestine joyful, protected, and safe. We ask, O Creator, that all elementals of war, such as guns, explosives, knives, bombs, landmines, trigger mechanisms, planes, rockets, weapons, drones, all nuclear weapons, computer gases, germs, satellites, electrical towers, microwave towers, biogenetics, sound waves, and weapons, as well as any advanced weaponry that we may not have thought of. For example, any off-planet technology that is meant to destroy any Palestinian life form on Earth or the Earth herself, and voodoo effigies that are being asked to hurt or destroy any Palestinian life on any level be commanded through the sacred triangle of humans, angels, and elementals to misfire, disintegrate, choose to malfunction, or generally be harmless and take the path of love. We see all poison gas and aerosol canisters not working, so they will not release toxins. They will be stopped by the power of all that is good and true, that nothing but good shall circulate in the air. May all the rats, mice, termites, snakes, spiders, fleas, flies now infect all equipment of war, so all will break down. We cut ties to those that may want to create the illusion of an alien invasion, real or military created. Cut ties to all holographic machines, the computers that run them, and all satellites. When they try and communicate with each other, they receive nothing but white noise and lots of static. As all their high-tech equipment malfunction and break down, all operators and technicians have memory problems as they all become dyslexic around their equipment. I called all possible bombs that may be planted inside or outside Palestine, the West Bank, Gaza, including nuclear, and asked that you break down and become totally unfunctional. We command the angels and all cosmic beings to do whatever they need to do and see that all of these weapons malfunction. We cut ties to Israel and all religious groups trying to manifest Armageddon and using Israel and Palestine as patsies. We cut ties to all old Bible stories that is creating this hostility between the Arabs and Israel. We violet flame all those old thought forms now. Let's replace those thought forms with ideas of peace, compassion, harmony, and love. Let's send more light energy to all those Israelis and Palestinians that stand for peace. May they be sent all they need to be successful in their missions, as well as divine protection. See the peace movement growing and becoming greater than the war energy. See people becoming very conscious now as all those energy veils that are covering what's happening in Palestine is removed and replaced with light. Let's see people see clearly and do it in a way they will band together and get results from Israel. So Israel stops the genocide. So let's fill this bubble of light up with light and love. See Palestine, the West Bank, Gaza in this bubble. And see everybody inside just recharging and regenerating. All the children reconnecting to the Creator. and actually being given and being able to see new possibilities. And we're going to ask that all trauma and all chaos and all that stress is removed as they're reconnected to the Creator. Let their lives be filled with a little bit of joy. And see the world speaking out now for Palestine. And if that means the boycotting of Israeli goods to get their attention, then do that. If it means that you need to write to people in Israel, do it. And let's give energy to all those people that are the peaceniks in Israel, because there are good people there. All right, let's fill this bubble up with light and love and see it manifesting and really gaining strength. And take a deep breath and release it to manifest. All right, let's take a deep breath now. And again, feel that divine healing energy flow through your body and down your arms, out your hands. We're going to form another bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, we're going to put a power prayer to help Israel become an awakened country. So let there be light in the name of the presence of God, which I am. Through the magnetic power, the sacred fire vested in me, I command. I am asking that all rats, mice, termites, snakes, spiders, fleas, flies, now infect all Israeli equipment of war, so all will break down. May all their new homes have mold problems and dry rot. We ask that if it's for their highest good, that the Creator now send their karma back to the Israelis for what they are doing to the Palestinians 100,000-fold. We ask that all Israeli are reconnected to the Creator to become awakened spiritual beings that is full of compassion, kindness, and love. We cut ties to Israel and all religious groups trying to manifest Armageddon, and again, using Israel as a patsy. We cut ties from all old Bible stories that is creating this hostility between the Arabs and Israel. We violet flame all those old thought forms now. We ask that all the decision makers in the Israeli government to step forward in the light of God and stop this unnecessary genocide against Palestine, as well as speak only the truth. And if you choose not to, which is your free will, we ask your higher self and guardian angels to put you all in positions of harmlessness. And that can mean you just may want to retire and be with your children now, and replacing your position with a human of peace, love, and compassion. Let's send more light energy to all those Israelis that stand for peace. May they be sent all they need to be successful in their missions, as well as divine protection. We see the peace movement growing and becoming greater than the war energy. Let all decision makers be divinely inspired on how to create a two-state solution in peace. So let's put also, because this is a big bubble, in the center, all those that are in the Israeli military. So we call the higher selves of everyone in the Israeli military, wherever they are at work, including all spies, agents of Mossad, to help them step forward in the light, reconnect with the Creator, and become conscious beings. See all Palestinians, Arabs, and all protesters speaking out against you as your family, friends, aunts, uncles, sons, and daughters, and lay down your weapons, choosing not to hurt nor harm anyone. We call to the higher selves of everyone in the Israeli military, wherever they are at work, including all spies, agents of the Mossad, and I ask your higher selves to divinely inspire you in all ways of stopping and preventing war, and to put your energies toward more humanitarian efforts, that all research and manufacturing of all nuclear, electromagnetic, laser, microwave, star wave type, chemical, biological, germ sound, or other scientific warfare is immediately halted and dismantled. We call the decision makers of the Israeli armies and all high-ranking members and ask your higher selves to help you, again, come forward in the light. And if you choose not to work for humankind, which is your free will, we ask your higher selves and the angels to put you in a position of total harmlessness and that a peace worker take your place. We're no one at all. We ask the divine to awaken your spiritual being, allowing love, compassion, kindness, caring, peace, and divine love to flow through your body, mind, and spirit. We see this happening as your reptilian brain is shut down and your God brain activated. We ask your higher selves to help you become conscious beings, being able to see clearly all military commands that are given with the courage to refuse bullets, not kill, hurt, nor harm any living being, refusing to go on kill missions. For now you see everyone as family, refusing shots and bullets, refusing to bulldoze Palestinian land. And we send all of you lots of divine courage to refuse to be redeployed. You are all supported by your family and friends for these conscious decisions. If you choose to go AWOL, then go back and fight. You may all be invisible to all military and police authorities, able to hide in plain sight. We call to all the elementals of war you use, cutting them free from your misuse. Cleanse them with the violet flame, reconnecting to the Creator, and command the elementals to be neutral, to misfire, not work, go off course, and choose not to hurt nor harm any life form. And this includes all bulldozers. May divine peace, calm, brotherhood, enlighten, inspiration for putting together a balanced government descend down around everyone in Palestine and Israel now, and continue to flow 24/7, 365 days a year. We see Israel and Palestine come to a mutually beneficial two-state solution. We bless all the peacekeepers and those who have the courage not to go to war against anyone. May their ranks grow and swell so they become the majority and the peacekeepers run the countries. Nevertheless, not our will, but thy will be done. So let's fill it up with light and love. And let's take a deep breath and release it. So again, feel that energy flow into your body. And we're going to create another bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, I want you to put in your divine missions, your divine purposes. And I want all of that to just recharge and regenerate. Put your family in this bubble of light and see them receive a healing. Put in your friends, your spiritual family, and put yourselves in this bubble of light and feel that feel yourself being recharged and regenerated. And everyone in this bubble, their cells, atoms, molecules, all their internal organs going all the way down into their DNA. And we're going to call to everyone's higher self that we put in this bubble of light. And we're going to ask their higher selves to activate their divine blueprint for perfect health. You know, the one that y'all put together and you planned on before you incarnated into this lifetime, and that it's put into activation now and starts manifesting in your bodies now. And I want to put in all your hopes, your wishes, your heart's desires, put them in this bubble of light. And I'm going to ask that they all really just receive all this energy. And because you're in this bubble of light, you're receiving so much light that you're a magnet now for everything good, everything you need. It's all just coming to you. And you have so much abundance that you're able to share it with others. All right, let's fill this bubble of light up with much light and love. Let everybody recharge and regenerate. And let's take a deep breath and release it. All right, let's do another quickie and feel again that divine energy flowing down. And let's create another bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, I want you to put in everybody that you know that's sick, body, mind, soul. See this bubble of light. In this bubble, imagine them sitting on chairs of angel light or laying on tables of angel light. And they're being surrounded completely in this bubble of angel light that's helping absorb any pain or discomfort that they have. And it's helping transmute it. And again, put yourself in this bubble of light and feel that divine energy flow through you. And we're going to cut the ties to whatever is creating anything out of balance. Violet flame, the whole bodies for everybody in this bubble to transmute again that energy. And now we're going to ask everyone's higher self to help them reconnect to the Creator. So they become an awakened spiritual being, open to new possibilities, and now a magnet for what they need to heal, and be open-minded enough to see it when it comes to them. And let all these healing modalities be very, very affordable. And for those that are sick or has dis-ease, let's blast them with energy. See that energy going into their hearts, into their brains, and just flowing through their body, especially wherever they're out of balance. And see that light so strong. It's just overwhelming all the other cells, atoms, molecules, and all those atoms and molecules that are out of balance are mimicking the healthy cells, and see everything regenerate and come back to life. Everybody's filled with more energy and really divinely inspired in all things, on all levels. All right, so let's fill that up with light and love. Now let's take a deep breath and release it. So again, feel that energy flow down. And in this bubble of light, let's place the Mother Earth and see her recharge and regenerate. Send energy in your mind's eye. Send energy right to the very center of the earth. And let her fill up with that light. We're going to call the violet flame through the Mother Earth, transmute anything she's taken on that's not hers, any one who has created any out of balance energy through fracking or dynamite or shoving chemicals into her. See the violet flame transmuting all that. And the Mother Earth becoming stronger, so it doesn't matter what anybody does to her, she holds her form and she keeps her balance. And she releases all out of balance energy in a very gentle, kind, loving way, and she does it in a conscious way where no one is hurt or harmed. And as the Mother Earth raises her consciousness, see people on the planet also start becoming conscious of her and starting planting organic and being conscious of her, the life, her trees, her antennas, her energy centers. And see Earth gently going back into balance as people reconnecting to the Creator, becoming awakened spiritual beings that know better. And see them consciously now wanting to help her clean up and be given all this new direction on how it can be done. And just let the Mother Earth recharge and regenerate. Anywhere there's an out of balance man-made earthquake, see her release it. See a healing energy going through her. We're going to call the cosmic beings out there. And we're going to invite them in. And will you please do something with the radiation? Clean it up, take something, do with it, and turn it into something beneficial for the planet. I know you can do this. You have our permission. You have a permission to do that with all the chemtrails out there. And anything else that's put in the air that doesn't belong. See the cosmic beings going through it and cleaning it up, getting it removed. See, wake up to nice clear blue skies. Clean. You can smell the trees and the flowers, unless you're in the north and it's winter. You can smell how clean the air is. And send this beautiful high energy through all the Mother Earth's waters and the oceans, the seas. And as this energy goes through the water, see it reoxygenate the water. And it helps circulate it, putting into proper balance. It neutralizes all out of balance sound. And it turns all that sonar noise into white noise for all the living creatures in the ocean. And see all that ocean coming back to life as people become more conscious. All right, let's fill this bubble of light with Mother Earth in it, up with light and love, and take a deep breath and release it. And I want to do one more bubble of light, and in this bubble of light, I want to put Rick Schneider, and I call the Rick Schneider, governor of Michigan's higher self, and I ask his higher self and all the divine creation to bring divine accountability to this man. He has destroyed Michigan. He has killed many people from his actions. He has destroyed Flint's water supplies. I ask that all magic protecting him be removed now. All veils of protection be removed now. We command the goddess of truth and justice into his life, bring divine accountability into it, and divine justice. May he see prison time for his actions. All right, fill that up with light and love. Take a deep breath and release it. All right, take a deep breath now and release everyone's hands. We're going to release all the divine entities that showed up, and we bless them. I want you to put your feet flat on the floor if they aren't already. And I want you to feel the earth energy come up your feet and feel yourself ground and pull back in body. And with every breath now, you're becoming more grounded because that earth energy is coming up your legs. And as this earth energy is coming up your legs, we're going to do 3 quick ohms and close the circle. As you're grounding, 1, 2, 3. Om, 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. Mother, Father, thank you for bringing us together and giving us awful opportunity to serve. And I ask that everyone's lives are filled with joy and ease, and all the obstacles just flow, get out of their way, and they have a clear path, and that they receive a healing tonight. And nevertheless, not our will, but thy will be done. All right, so if you're still high off of this energy work, and thank you so much for participating. It matters to the earth, it matters to light. To all the good guys, it matters. And, thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you are doing such a high service work. And if you like what I do, then invite people to listen. The bigger the group, the quicker things are going to happen to propel us into enlightenment. This year, okay? We're not waiting. And everything is lined up so we can do it. So let's do it. Focus on the light. Be conscious of where you put your energies. And, if you want something to do while you're walking around, just chant, may divine enlightenment descend down around everyone now. May divine enlightenment descend down around everyone now. May divine enlightenment descend down around everyone now. How easy, right? If you want more information on me, you can go to my website at www.angelliteom.com. That's ANGELITEOM.com. And I've got all my Angelite products there. I've got a couple books. One you can download for free. It's like the Spiritual Book of Basics. My soul, curse removal you can get. If you look under free healing, that's for free. You can download, and it's what I call part of my maintenance program. All my shows up on Revolution Radio are on YouTube. I have my soul retrievals there, and that's also a gift that I give to you. So thank you for joining, and I appreciate you adding energy to my work and helping me with my mission, and that's quantum leap the world into enlightenment. And may your week be filled with joy. Aloha.